Hey friends, I know you're not used to seeing me in front of the camera, and I'm certainly not used to being in front of it. But today is a special day because I'll be painting my denim jacket. Something I've been meaning to do for ages now. And now that spring is just around the corner, I thought it'd be the perfect time to bring out the old denim jacket and finally give it a shot. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. It could be a complete disaster for all I know. But hey, I guess we're gonna find out. Whenever I see a custom painted clothing item, I almost always find myself thinking, that looks a bit ridiculous. And I'm always left wondering if you could actually do it in a way that looks cool while also being wearable. So I thought I'd give it a shot myself and see if I can come up with something. I didn't just want to paint something on denim and call it a day, and I also didn't want to paint something that's over the top in your face only to clickbait people into watching the video. What I wanted to do is paint something that I personally genuinely would like to have and wear myself. And with that in mind, I took a photo of the jacket, switched over to the iPad and started thinking about some design ideas. I don't know about you, but to me a denim jacket just screams 80s. Video games, movies, toys, all that good stuff. So I definitely wanted the whole thing to give off an 80s vibe. And since my mind immediately goes to video game and movie characters when I think of the 80s, that's also the direction I went with. After doodling around a bit and going through the web looking for ideas and reference photos, I came up with a few designs. And although I would love to have a Space Invader denim jacket, I decided to go with good old Obi-Wan for the final design. The overall dark picture just worked like a charm with the light blue of the jacket. After I knew what I wanted to paint, it was time to prepare the jacket and get everything ready for painting. Now, I have to confess that I skipped the part where I do research online on how to properly paint on clothes and the quote-unquote right materials to use, because I have a feeling that all these special dedicated products like fabric paints and whatnot are mostly useless anyway. Instead, what I decided to do is do things my own way based on my general experience with painting materials, and we'll see if that was a smart idea or not in the end. The way I prepared the jacket is not dissimilar to how I would prepare a canvas. I sealed the surface with an acrylic dispersion and then I applied a coat of white paint so that the colors don't lose their vibrancy while painting. I also lightly sanded the surface, hoping to make the surface a bit easier to paint on, but as you'll shortly find out, this didn't exactly work the way it was supposed to. And then it was time to get painting. Now, two things. Firstly, everything you see me paint from here on out is painted with acrylic paint for a change. So this might be especially interesting for all the people who always wonder whether or not you can paint with acrylic paint similar to oil paint. But secondly, let me tell you something. After the first couple of brush strokes, the only thought I had was, oh crap, this was a bloody mistake. At this point, I honestly didn't think that I could pull this off. As it turns out, painting on denim is pretty much exactly like painting on sandpaper. It's almost as if it doesn't want to be painted on. And on top of that, I picked the tiniest, most complicated reference you can imagine, which would be hard to paint even under normal circumstances. Imagine painting a thumbnail-sized face on sandpaper, and you might get an idea on how frustrating this was. But backing down was not an option, and luckily, the more paint I applied, the easier painting became. But it's safe to say that denim is less than ideal as a painting surface. The process itself was pretty straightforward. Acrylic paint is quite forgiving. The order you paint in isn't really that important, because it dries on the spot and you can put paint on top of paint and always make changes and rework spots. But the basic process was this. Start with all the blacks, paint in all the basic colors, and then refine. Surprisingly, The part that I thought would give me the most headache, the glow of the lightsaber, turned out to be one of the easier things to paint. I had much more difficulty painting the cloth because it's almost impossible to put down a brushstroke and create a sharp line. But I just kept going and going until I ended up with something that I thought I could live with. And then it was time for the moment of truth. I have to admit, peeling off the tape was a bit nerve-wracking, because I had no clue if it would leave me with a complete disaster or the most satisfying tape peeling moment ever. But luckily this part worked out like an absolute charm, and I have to say, I'm honestly surprised with the final result. The painting might not be on the same level as my usual stuff, but the overall end result looks so much better than I thought it would after the first couple of brushstrokes. As a piece of clothing, it kinda works. If I did this again, which I would love to do, I would do a few things differently though. Instead of white acrylic paint, I would use white acrylic gesso to prime the jacket. And I would also try to apply a couple of coats and sand in between until the surface is smooth enough to make regular brushstrokes. And I would paint at a much larger scale. But all in all, I have to say that I'm quite happy with the end result, especially since this is the first time I've ever tried this. I highly encourage you guys to give it a shot yourself. It's really satisfying to create something that you love to have, but probably could never get if you didn't do it yourself. Let me know in the comments below if you think I managed to pull this off, and I would also love to hear what you would paint on your denim jacket. Make sure to click that like button if you enjoyed watching me awkwardly say hi to you in front of the camera. Maybe I'll do it again. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see what I'm cooking up in the studio next. And if you want to support the channel more directly and help me make more videos in the future, consider becoming a patron of the channel. By becoming a patron, you not only support the channel, but you also allow me to make videos that are much more interesting and complex down the line. And it comes with a bunch of cool rewards, like access to a private Discord server or your name at the end of each video, just like all of these beautiful people here. And with that, friends, we are gonna bring this video to an end. Special thanks to all patrons of the channel for making all of this possible, and thank you all out there for watching, guys. Please hit like, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and yeah, have a good one.